Thank you very much for coming. Before we get started, I would ask that we observe a moment of silence for David Roddy's passing. The community has lost a strong leader and a wonderful volunteer and a wonderful person. So, a moment. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. I would start with public comment, please, for anything that's not on the agenda. Sue?
I had a call this morning from Michelle. She is looking for an exchange students coming in from Brazil. From January to June, they are looking for housing, and I do have the number. It's in the MBU district, and the cell phone number is 370-0073 if anybody's interested in putting this kid in for 5 months.
Okay.
I told her I will pass it into the select board, so it would be on tonight.
Okay. Perfect. Anyone else?
Me and Nancy Fisk, we're here because of the accident that occurred on December 17th, claiming the life of one of our community members. And in an area on Vermont Route 78 East, and our concern mostly is signage in that area heading east. And I called the Vermont Agency of Transportation and was told by an employee there, Bernie Patno, I was going to offer a petition for that to get some signatures for the signage, and he said that it has to come from the town, any request for change in signage. I was specifically asking for blinking caution lights or warning signs about the grade or the winding conditions of the road, or to use a little gear, especially in the case of tractor trailers coming down through that area from the east, from the west. And the history of accidents in that area, especially when it involves tractor trailers. So he said that a petition would be okay, he said, but your ultimate voice would be from your town to make a request to Jim Coda.
Well, I think for the time being and through the winter, they had them solar message trailers, and if you could ask the state of Vermont to maybe put something there on top to warn the people that what's down below. This guy here is out of New York, and a lot of trailers are coming from New York, coming through to go into Enosburg and St. Albans and using that road, and they're not unfamiliar with it. And the time they start coming down the grade, it's too late to slow down or put their brakes on, and it's unfortunately lost someone, but this time hopefully people will act on it and as soon as possible.
Okay. What does the board think?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's long overdue. So I guess I'd make a motion to ask Highgate to reach out to Jim Coda to get better signage and to put a temporary solar sign there for the winter, and then maybe the summer we can do something more permanent, but it's definitely dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to, I know we went through the same, I was on the select board for our 4 corners on ground corners, and they have to do a study, and it's a year or two down the road with that, and you've got to get the wheels turning here for these people to start acting on it.
I'll second Josh's motion.
Okay.
Better signage on the end of Bristol Road too, because on New Year's Eve I had a car in my gully. Coming off Murray Street. So it should be a sign warning up farther about stop sign, because by the time you get there, you hit the brakes and just went right straight across.
That's easier for us.
He went right to the brook.
Yes.
That's easier for a town to do than an highway road, state road, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
and everything leans that way too, so.
We've also put that on the state's radar because
That road.
it tips right at the work. The road is washing out.
Let's stay on the first one.
Yes, yeah.
The state owns schools.
So, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Well, the guy was lucky, he didn't get a scratch on it.
I,
At the brook.
to add to Josh's motion, can we identify that as a spot for, St. Albans Police to pay more attention to? If the problem is speeding or whatever,
I don't even think that case was speeding. I think it was just he got into the corner and it was too late before he realized
Yeah,
it.
but-
But I mean, I agree.
It was road condition
Yeah.
on road too,
Well-
besides. Just like New Year's Eve, it was road conditions when that guy went skidding across. He said, I put on the brakes and you could hear those anti-locks locking, let go locking. A little bumpy going down.
So how do you reach out to Jim then?
I suspect they'll have some suggestions on how to move forward, and I've invited the FIS to come back to the next meeting, but I can forward that information to you as well prior to
Also, I'd
that.
like to add that Ernie Patno said that it takes, they have to get their traffic team out and do a study, and it could take a long time, so that request would be probably good for the wintry conditions of the roads. It usually happens at night, and it's usually a tractor trailer, it's just in that area.
So you're looking for something temporary, immediate, and a long-term fix?
Sure, perfect, yeah.
Yeah, that's a heavy traffic with tractor trailers going through there.
Heading to the paper mill.
I mean, perfect, I mean, right after Lampkin Street, something's, because what's there now is not enough. They've got to have some fair warning before they, so they can downshift, use a lower gear, something.
Okay. Any other public comment? Okay, so we have a few planning commission members here. And Luke?
These are the more current. The one you had when you were here has more information. Bruce already has one
Oh,
down
sorry.
there.
You pass it on to Richard.
Okay, so I guess after two planning commission meetings that got canceled because of COVID, we finally got it all finished up for this meetings. So the proposals for the one capital improvement budget for kind of Highgate. Basically, Parks and Rec Department, we've got 5,000 down for the Zamboni, and 15,000 towards the new indoor turf that they'll eventually need. So that's for a total of 20,000. Highgate Public Library, we've got $25,000 towards the future new library. The Highgate Fire Department, we've asked for $25,000 towards the purchase of a new fire engine number 2. That's the beginning stage. Public Works / Highway. We've asked 20,000 towards a new road mower. 30,000 towards a new grader. 25,000 towards a new loader. 10,000 towards a new backhoe. 60,000 towards the new truck to replace the 2010 International. 25,000 towards the 2014 replacement truck. 10,000 towards the 2015 compact pump truck. $25,000 towards the 2016 single axle truck. And we removed the, so 0 for the sidearm mower. For a total of $215,000. Basically, we're around the town. You've asked $25,000 towards the transfer station stabilization effort. And $30,000 towards the Macy Road slide. For a capital budget, there, $45,000. For a total of $330,000 is what we're proposing for the capital budget.
Okay. So we've seen this in advance, and we have been working with Shelley going forward on this CIP. We have, and thank you for your input. We are adjusting it a little. We are asking that the Macy Road slide will end up being $50,000 instead of 30. That would give us enough money to go forward with the repair of the Macy Road slide. We have one grant that we'll apply for in the summer, but it should allow us to have our match as long as we get approved for that grant. We are also asking for $50,000 for the transfer station stabilization, knowing that that is a multi-million-dollar project. Having done that, and having taken into account the general fund, that would keep our tax rate almost identical. So it would allow us to go forward with our future planning, would allow us to catch up on our highway department's equipment needs, and it would allow us to fix one of our major issues in town, which would be the Macy Road slide. The transfer station, we have put in for a FEMA grant, so we're hoping that we can make up some of the difference there. But we're taking that step by step, and FEMA is known for being a slow process. So we hopefully have more than just this year to ask for money. So we'll build as much as we can without overburdening the taxpayers. Shelley, am I correct in saying that our tax rate would be almost identical?
Yes, it would. I think I have that paper. I dropped one pile and picked up another to switch meetings. I just have a quick question on the planning commission is adjusting the sidearm. I don't know what your feelings are on that. And upping the 2010 by $10,000.
So we didn't have the sidearm in ours, did we?
You just took it out. There was the 20,000.
I need my other pile.
We took it from there and put it on the truck.
The 10,000 went up,
I can't
10,000 went
remember.
down.
Yeah, but she had it in our
Gotcha.
fund paperwork. Just to try to not raise the taxes for the taxpayer on our end. We understand that it's very difficult for people to absorb increased taxes, and we are very careful about that. But we also don't want to let anything go to poop in town either, so.
So it is included in what we what you are considering in your tax rate. The 20,000, you have 20,000 for the tractor and 20,000 for the sidearm. And it's all under the highway tractor roadside mower.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that 20,000 is included in the proposed budget.
So my thought was we had proposed that we'll get 50,000 for that international. I don't think you're gonna get 50,000. I think you're more likely to get 40. So we talked about taking 10 and putting it up to the 50,000, which would allow you a little cushion. That way we would be able to order a new truck January 1st, so that process can start. And then 10,000 of that would go down to the the Macy Road, which could be included in the 50 that we agreed upon. Bruce, you good with that?
Yeah.
So,
Take 10 out of the roadside mower
yep, and put it
and move it
on
to the
the
international.
2010 International. And then, take 10 and put it, well, in our figures, it'll be 10 off.
It would be 10 off, it would
Yeah.
be 10 less.
Yep.
So I think the planning commission also wanted to ask about the 32.5 that's set aside as a stormwater grant match. I think we had built that in previously with the expectation that there would be some expensive stormwater grants coming up, which, if that's the case, you should be able to slide those over to meet one of your matches. They're not. Is that your recollection also?
You would ask to save some stormwater grant match money, so
So there's 32.5 already in your reserve for that. So that could be used as well on whichever of those grants you need, if it's discussed that way at
Right.
town meeting.
Okay. Is that agreeable?
Yep.
Yeah.
Any questions or concerns?
I got a question. I know you were checking into having the landfill moved. Whatever happened with that deal?
We are still pursuing a few options with that. We did put in for the FEMA grant to get that ball rolling in case that's the way we choose to go.
We were supposed to meet with Casella tonight, but he cannot make it, so
Yeah,
Because I know you talked about him buying the property or.
yeah.
there's a lot happening there.
Yeah.
We're supposed to meet with them tonight, but they couldn't make it.
Well, that's a work in progress. But know that we can't, spend any of that money outside of that.
Yeah.
So if for some reason that property gets sold or something else happens, that money still stays with the town.
Yeah.
And then taxpayers decide next.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the capital improvement plan as discussed?
I make a motion to accept as amended.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Planning Commission, for taking the time to meet with all of our groups and pawing through all the particulars for us. Hopefully, we can have smooth sailing at town meeting.
Can only hope.
It should go quicker. You shouldn't have to discuss the school budget this year.
Okay. Hazard mitigation plan.
So, I'm Sean with Northwest Regional Planning, in St. Albans. I met with the Planning Commission tonight, been working with Heidi on the hazard mitigation plan for town. The current hazard mitigation plans for municipalities are every 5 years. They're good for 5 years, they have to have them updated after 5. The current plan is due this year in 2020. The transfer station grant that you currently have, I don't think it would be in jeopardy if you didn't get the plan updated, but it's just good measure to get it done, and any other projects that may come up that you want to have done. You'll be eligible to apply for funding. We've done the town's done a few buyouts over the years. Waugh Farm Road, Riverview Lane a couple years ago, 5 years ago, I guess it was 5 years ago. They did those home buyouts.
So can you explain for our audience what hazard mitigation is?
Yeah, so hazard mitigation planning is the actions that a town would take prior to a disaster happening. So if you have an undersized culvert that keeps flooding and blows up the road, then you'd want to upsize this culvert, get it to the right hydraulic standards to reduce the damages from a disaster. For the home buyouts, it was because those properties were threatened by flooding or landslides. So the homeowners had come before the select board requesting that they be bought out if they could get in with through the FEMA mitigation grant. So the town had voted on doing that to help those people out. It was a matter of public safety. And then we have the transfer station that keeps sliding, has been a pain in the town side for some years. And the mitigation grant enabled the town to apply for funding to help reduce those damages whenever they occur. And I know this project is a lot more complicated than just throwing some riprap on it like they've done over the previous years.
A lot more riprap.
A lot more riprap. A lot more complicated, a lot more money.
Yeah.
But we don't want the town to lose its eligibility. Also, whenever there's a presidential declaration that occurs, I think we're going to have one from the Halloween storm that just took place that affected most of the towns in the region, in the county, in Lamoille, Addison, Chittenden County. Whenever there's a presidential declaration made, a town is eligible for public assistance funds. So they get any emergency repairs that were done during the event, the town can get reimbursed for to 75%. There's a 25% local match. With the hazard mitigation, with emergency relief assistance fund, you can reduce your match rate down to 12.5%. So if the town has a hazard mitigation plan in place that's been approved and adopted by FEMA, if it has a local emergency management plan, which it does, if it has roads, codes, and standards, which it does, and is a good standing of the National Flood Insurance Program, which you are, because you have flood bylaws in your zoning, that reduces your match from 25% to 12.5%, which is pretty significant if you've had $1 million worth of damages in the community during a presidentially declared disaster. So you can ask just about every other town in Franklin County about that right now.
Right?
Fortunately, you guys were spared this time, for the most part. So we've been working on the mitigation plan to get it updated. I think we're pretty much to a point now where we have a few more corrections to make after this last planning meeting tonight to, I guess, bring to you to review, and then once we get your go-ahead or approval, or if there's anything you want to add to it, just to keep the ball, get it to, submit it to FEMA for the next step, and then FEMA reviews the plan. They have a 12-page checklist to make sure that we meet all their requirements for your plan. And if you meet all their requirements, then you are blessed with adopting your own plan, according to FEMA. So it's kind of a funny process, but it is what it is.
So like with me on Monument Road, they're supposed to be taking care of this road by the riverbank, which got really bad flooded out 2 years ago.
Right.
And they are supposed to be taking care of the road this spring.
Who's taking care?
The guy, you talked to the guy.
It's a joint effort. I
It's a
think
joint
it's,
effort.
the agency that owns historic preservation, I think that owns those properties.
Yep.
They applied for funding from 2 different agencies.
2 different agencies.
Because there's a big chunk of the bank that is
It's
gone.
about 22 feet from the road right now.
Okay.
Very
I knew that
close.
there was some work that
It's just a
had,
little ways from my house.
yeah, I heard that there was some engineering done on the Monument Road.
Yes,
But I didn't know where they were at.
just a little ways from my house.
Yeah.
And one good thing this year, the bus is not going down there, so you don't have the bus below the soil because it stops at Tanglewood, so there's no bus going down there this year,
Okay.
which is a big help,
Right.
a big help.
Okay. I know one of the things the town had, the planning commission wanted to add was to do more improvements on the Monument Road. If I recall, I think Richard Noel was talking about maybe working with Swanton and trying to do a joint project maybe on the Monument Road, maybe elevating it and putting some drainage in to help it.
I know with the lights being on the Monument Road, that's been a huge help, gigantic help.
Right.
So
So it is mentioned in this new plan that we're doing
Good.
about doing some improvements.
there's a lot of us down there, there's
Yeah.
56 houses that are Swanton residents, Highgate residents.
Right. Well, I think that's got hammered in January.
January 13th, 2 years ago.
So that's where we're at with the mitigation plan. Maybe sometime this winter, we'll have a final version to bring before town meeting, I'm hopeful. I don't know if it fits in with your schedule, but I'll work with Heidi.
Sure.
Get into that.
Well, let me take the time to say thank you very much
Yeah.
for all of your efforts. I know you were a huge help during our emergency in the flooding. And we don't thank Northwest Regional Planning enough for all that you do for us. We couldn't do a quarter of what we do if we didn't have your assistance and your knowledge to help us along our way. So
Well,
thank you very
thanks a lot.
much.
We work for you, so, we try to come through and
Yeah.
help you as much as possible, but thanks,
Yeah.
it's nice to hear.
No, we're very,
They're
very
great-
grateful.
They're great times,
Yeah.
and you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll look forward to a hazard mitigation plan in the future. Okay. Shelley?
Moving right along.
Check warrant.
Okay,
Y'all got a chance to see it? Okay.
do I have a motion to sign the check warrant?
I'll make a motion to sign check warrant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There goes the tax collection.
Tax collection, that's the next update I'm gonna give you. I just completed my final year-end report for the town report. And the outstanding delinquencies are $160,087.14 still. A lot of small balances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 still on the tax sale list. And I believe Kristen Shamus from our attorney's office will be here to do some title work on those moving forward in the near future. I thought she'd be in here before the holidays, but see, she has a larger heart than I do. So, hopefully they can get in and make some payment arrangements.
Yes, because we don't want to take properties.
We do not.
We want you to be able to live in your homes and stay here in town. But unfortunately, as you just heard,
I have
it
a
costs
job.
money. Yes, and Shelley has a job
I do have
and
a job.
she needs to collect our taxes in order for us all to have a mutual benefit.
Well, then I'm in trouble.
Right.
Besides that, just wrapping up the year, payroll wise and getting ready for town meeting, in the thick of town report and getting that off to the printers. January 15th will be the deadline for that. So if the select board did their submission, or Mary, I received yours already, thank you very much. I've received a lot actually already.
All right, I'll get on it.
I'm not done mine either, Sharon. It will be a different book this year. The school merger has kind of forced their hand at doing their own book, so ours, I'm expecting to save some money in the printing. The school side is half of our
Right.
book, so we'll see. It'll be different. It'll be thin.
So, speaking of the school part, Wendy reached out and asked,
Laura.
yeah, the school had asked if they could present or have a question and answer session before our meeting on town meeting. What's the board's thought?
Feel odd without them there.
Well, I would like the taxpayers to be able to ask questions.
I agree.
So they're gonna have their own info session like they always do.
Yeah,
We're gonna have ours. So they're asking to be on site that morning somewhere in the building
okay.
to advertise if people still have questions about the school budget. I did check with the Secretary of State's office and it is allowed, so.
Do I have a
In the
motion?
bowling area? Not in the polling area, in the building. Like, they can't be in the gym. Right. And people are, so they could be in the library. Everyone's in a separate space. So I just need to let them know, yes or no, if you allow it, so they can advertise it if anybody wanted to stop in and ask questions that day, before our meeting.
Yeah.
Bruce, what you thinking?
I think the more information gets shared with the public, the better.
Yep.
I'll let them know tomorrow.
Okay, do you need a motion?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to allow them to come to our town meeting.
Bruce, you want a second?
Yes,
And then
second.
meeting the school district.
Yep. All those in favor say aye.
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 That's all I have for you, unless you have anything further for me.
Just a hearty thank you for the help with the budgeting.
I will make the changes, the last final changes to the CIP and the few that we discussed this evening, and get that out to you probably tomorrow, just for a last review. And if I hear nothing, I'll take that as send it on to the print shop.
Okay,
Okay?
perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wendy?
Yep, you've got 2 sets of minutes, December 5th and 10th.
Okay. So, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of December 5th, 2019?
So moved.
Bruce, I think you and I were were you here on the,
I got late.
okay,
The special meeting, budget meeting?
No,
No.
regular.
Regular.
The only one that was missing was Richard.
okay, so yeah, you can second, okay? All those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Now I need a motion for the approval of the minutes for the December 10th special meeting.
So moved.
For that one.
So I second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so those are for signature.
Actually, what is it for that one?
Town meeting deadlines.
Look at all the meetings I made it to.
Hey, you're doing good.
Impressive.
Off to a good start.
So again, we have 7 positions that are gonna be on the ballot this year. Petitions are available and due to me by January 25th at 5 p.m. 1% of registered voter signatures, which is 22. Moderator, select board for 2 years, select board for 3 years, lister for 3 years, cemetery commissioner for 5 years, trustee of trust funds for 3 years, and library trustee for 5 years. Warned article petitions are due with 5% registered voter signatures, which is 112, by January 16th at 4:30. What else? Absentee ballots. You can request them anytime. I don't have them yet, but I'm supposed to have them by the 17th of January, so you can let me know if you want to vote absentee for town meeting, or you can fill out the form and you can vote absentee for the entire year 2020, because we're going to be at the polls a lot. And I think that's it for town meeting. Oh, I want to talk about town meeting lunch, or lack thereof, real quick.
Yes.
It's a transitional year. We don't have a school meeting.
We do town meeting breakfast.
Exactly. So Richard did stop in and talk to me about it. He wasn't sure if we should not do anything altogether, or if we should do brunch food, have it available starting at 9 o'clock, throw a donation jar out there, just have something for people to nibble on and converse, hang out, or do we do a full lunch and rely on the fire department? I don't know what to expect for a turnout. I don't know what to expect for a time frame. So
Joe, would the fire department entertain the idea of coffee and donuts or coffee and snacks?
We are whatever you guys like. I mean, we don't have a problem with it.
Steak and eggs.
Well, I think it's not fair to ask you to do a lunch, because I'm afraid, like Wendy said, you're gonna get 5-10 people and that's gonna be it.
Right.
But, you know, if we could throw coffee on a table and snacks or whatever, and like they said, a donation jar, or charge them for whatever.
I was gonna reach out to Caitlin Fortin.
Yeah.
And see if she would give us some kind, what could she do for us?
Sure.
What
Sure.
would the price be?
Yep.
I mean, it's,
Pastries, whatnot.
Right.
yeah, something, but not a full-blown lunch. I mean, these guys spend
Yeah.
all morning in the kitchen, they
Right.
don't get to participate in the
Prepping, yeah.
meeting because they're cooking. I don't know.
What do you think, Bruce?
I'm hoping we'd be all done by lunch.
Yeah.
What's the average length of just the town meeting portion?
Well, we usually come back on at 1.
It's usually
And
the
we're done
By
by,
3:34 sometimes.
3, 4 o'clock.
we start at 9 next year. We're definitely done by lunch.
Change is hard, people, I know, but it's a transitional year for
Everything,
us
yeah,
without
yeah.
school, so. I don't know.
I would entertain the motion that the fire department would do coffee donuts. And we'll play it by ear and see what.
Cookies and.
Yeah. Snack foods,
Yeah.
something like that. We'll come up with something. And then we'll just play it by ear for next year, for the following year. Since this is a transitional year,
See how it goes.
see how it goes.
And I definitely will check with Caitlin Fortin.
Okay?
Yeah, she's a Highgate girl, she'd help us out. Okay. All right, good enough. And we started licensing dogs today.
Everybody's happy.
Oh, 31 dogs today, that's probably a record
Wow.
for the first day, so. People got my mail, did y'all get my mail?
I got my mail.
Got my mail. I did at the end of the month.
So that started today, so come in anytime or call me if you need to do something over the phone or through the mail. The last thing is I did put together a very draft of the town meeting warning. I emailed it out and I think you guys have hard copies there.
Yes.
I did highlight 2 of the articles for you guys. You knew about all the rest of them, but the one about the trustees, eliminating those positions, and the request from Lamoille Valley Rail Trail. I don't know if you want those on there or not, so they are highlighted. We don't need to finalize this until the 16th meeting.
I'm perfectly happy with this. And Shelley will fill in the appropriate amount.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep, I saw the mile down.
My only question was the article about the rail trail. I did reach out to them and ask them if you decided to add that to our warning, would they have somebody there
Right,
that could answer any questions? Because you know there's gonna be some.
sure.
We're talking,
They gotta extend it, I mean, it's good for everything.
yeah. So if you decide to put it on there, I'll ask them to have somebody on.
And that's actually a
That
very
would be great.
scenic part of a rail trail. There's some nice valleys, and it's not like going through along 105 there where it's just,
Right.
you know, there's some nice valleys, there's some nice ledges, there's
Woods.
Yeah.
some woods,
Wooded
there's,
section.
yeah.
So
It's a
other than
real
that,
pretty area.
Pretty, everything else you guys knew about, and the
Connects onto the
trustees,
Swanton bike path too.
they're gonna be there as well. You know, with questions about why they no longer want to do. Okay, so I'll finalize this and you can sign it at next meeting.
Okay, do you need a motion?
Sure.
I have a
Move
motion.
to approve the proposed 2020 town meeting warning articles.
Second, and the only thing I would add is when the final numbers get put in.
Yes. Yep. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Alright, that's it for me.
Okay. Heidi.
All right. I have the A&R Planning Advance contract. But I have asked them to modify the dates, just to give us a few extra months. And they have agreed to do that, but they haven't sent me a new contract with that. So I'm asking you to either sign this one and allow me to change the dates, just to push it out as a completion date of September 15th, 2020 to December 31st.
So from September to December.
Correct. And not to say that we can't finish on that timeline, but there's two grants going on at the same time, so if one is delayed, I don't want it to make us late for the other one, so I would only need your signature on this page here.
Okay.
Let's see it first.
Absolutely.
And the accompanying grant, the municipal planning grant, the RFP is out for that, and those proposals will be back on the 9th, and the Village Core Master Plan Committee meets on the 14th, so they should be able to come to your next meeting with a recommendation to select one. While you're looking at that, I'll just mention that there's an email correspondence in here that is from the newly created position of Rural Broadband Technical Assistance Specialist. I reached out to Corey Parent after his last visit here to ask him about this. And so I connected with this Robert Fish, and he gave us some really solid statistics on Highgate, what we have now for service,
It's in our
and understanding what we might be able to do.
PDF.
He's happy to come to town for a meeting on the topic. So I wanted to get the select board's input on how do you want that to happen? Do you want him to start at a planning commission meeting and work with the planning commission on that? Do you want him to come here and do a meeting, presentation, talk about it? Or do you want to maybe appoint a couple people to work on this for a while?
I think we should have him put on a nice show for everybody
Okay. I'm good with that.
and get started
Okay.
Bring them in.
looking
I will
into
squeeze him in.
doing something that should have happened a decade ago.
He actually said Highgate's in pretty good shape compared to a lot of towns.
That's a real fine.
That's what I said.
Compliment.
But the statistics are in that email from him, and compared to some other towns, we're sitting pretty.
Okay, so to go back to the A&R grant,
Yep.
do I have a motion?
Motion to sign the A&R grant, is that what you need?
Second with the date change modification.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Got you back.
thank you.
You want me to sign this one?
Yes, please.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, go ahead.
There is one more opportunity for the town, and that is the USDA has just announced another round of grants, and they are rural business grants, and they can be used for planning or development of a property, several different opportunities. And I wanted to take that to the Village Core Master Plan Committee and see if that's something that they would like to apply for. The grants are due in March, so there's plenty of time to percolate on what they would like to do. It could help to create a business plan for that property or some strategies. But the challenge is we would have to submit a letter of intent by January 17th. So we'll have to, your next meeting is on the 16th. So we'd have to, but their meeting is on the 14th. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get that online, but I'd like the select board's green light to go forward and see if there's interest in applying. They're $30,000 grants. And I think there's several different things. I don't believe there's a match. I'll have more details for you next time. I just got this today, so I'm throwing it at you last minute.
So you're saying you think there's, in effect, no cost to them?
That's my understanding at this point. I'll get further into the details as we go through it.
Is any of that applicable for the things going on down at the airport?
It might be. It might be.
And what's really needed right now is a letter of intent.
Letter of intent by January 17th, just to say that the town of Highgate would like to pursue this. Then I have to attend a workshop in Montpelier, and then we would apply in March 21st, I think.
I'd be in favor of sending them a letter of intent for both Village Core projects and airport projects.
It's possible that we could apply for both because there are two different categories. So one is more in development and the other is more repairs, upgrades, things like that. So I'll try to have something substantial for you at your next meeting so you can make that decision. But I'll talk to both of those groups and see what their thoughts are.
So, are you making a motion?
Certainly.
Okay,
Did you get it?
are you second?
I'll second the letter intent.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
And the last thing is that the passive grants, the safety equipment grants just opened up, and the only thing we have on the radar so far is for the rec department. For the arena, they needed to purchase a flammables cabinet, similar to what we have in the garage that was noted on our safety inspection. So if there are other things for the fire department.
Thermal imager.
Pardon?
Thermal imager.
Thermal what?
Imager.
Oh,
$6,000.
Yeah. Well, actually closer to 8 now.
it's a 50-50 match, so up to 5,000. So you have to put in half. I'll follow up with you.
Okay.
And then there's just one personnel thing in executive.
right
Okay.
now.
That's it.
Actually, there's two.
Gonna get batteries for it.
Okay. Anything else for the select board? Okay.
No, I think that's it.
All right. I really don't have anything else. We've all been busy with the budget stuff and the ladies have been busy and so,
No executive?
yes, there is. I would make a motion to exit our regular select board meeting and enter into executive with Joe DePatie and Chris and Heidi, and I think we're good with Shelley. So, all those in favor, or can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for coming.